With the 30th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Maxwell Hairston. Let's go!
And there is the aforementioned Mad Max.
At number 30, the Bills pick a speedster at cornerback. His name, Maxwell Hairston. He's coming to Buffalo, the newest member of the Buffalo Bills. We want to welcome you into our instant draft reaction show. He's Bills insider Chris Brown. I'm your host, Maddy Glab. Hairston played at Kentucky is where he played his college ball. He's 6 feet tall, 183 pounds, and ran the fastest 40 time, 4.28 to be exact. Hairston was a team captain at Kentucky, and this cornerback has great instincts. He knows how to read wide receivers and quarterbacks. He has the speed and burst to jump routes and cause chaos. At Kentucky, 6 interceptions in 20 starts. Chris, why does he fit Buffalo?
Well, they needed a starting caliber cornerback in this draft class. I think that was obvious, and drafting one with your first pick in the draft certainly is a step in that direction. And this is a player with elite physical traits. And what does Brandon Beane time and time again look for in round one? Elite physical traits. The most notable one is his speed. Obviously, that stands out. Fastest time at the combine, as you mentioned, at 4.28. He also hit the top speed at the combine in terms of miles per hour, to no one's surprise, at just over 24 miles per hour. Whew. So when he gets up to top speed, he is moving. But he also tested exceptionally well in the other testing, 39.5-inch vertical, 10'9" broad jump. So a very springy, explosive type athlete. And when you watch him play, that's what you see. I think he's very patient with his hip flip when he's dropping in coverage because he trusts that speed. He knows even if he has a false step, he has the makeup speed to get back into the play and make a play on the ball. So this is a guy that when he was healthy 2 years ago had a productive season with 5 interceptions, forced fumbles, interception returns for touchdowns. He's got the school record, or tied the school record for interception returns for touchdowns with 3 in his career. Basically 6 interceptions in 20 career starts. That's good ball production, and the Bills, who were one of the best teams in the league to take the ball away, add another one to their secondary.
The anticipation, I think, with Hairston is a very important piece to why Buffalo fell in love with this cornerback and decided we have to go with him with the 30th overall pick. When you think about the transition that a cornerback is making from college ball to an NFL level, Chris, why do you think he can do that type of transition and be an impact player on this roster?
Well, he can be a man-to-man cover corner for the Bills, and that is not something that they could really do with Rasul Douglas. I mean, he's essentially a zone-only corner. He got victimized and targeted a lot last year. They needed a better answer, a guy that could play any call, any defensive call you make, and he has the physical skill set to do that.
Physical skill set to be able to do that. Now, when you think about what's currently on Buffalo's roster, right? Christian Benford signed a contract extension, and then this offseason, Buffalo signed Dane Jackson to a deal, as well as Trey White. How does Hairston fit into the picture of cornerbacks already on this roster?
Yeah, I think he's going to compete to start on the outside opposite Benford. White will probably be in that mix as well. Now another year removed from his major injury. So does Tre'Davious become a part of that conversation? I think he'll be given every opportunity to do that. But this guy has physical skills that Tre'Davious White, all due respect to Tre'Davious White, never had. He never had elite speed like this. And I think Hairston's just a hair longer. Where Hairston has to try to be better and prove he's better, and I don't think he is better than Tre'Davious White in this area, is in the area of run support, which is extremely important in this defensive scheme. So that is where Hairston has work to do. Basically, the Kentucky coaches have said he is a much more willing tackler now than when he came to Kentucky. So that's going to have to continue if he wants to get on the field in Buffalo.
Brandon Beane said during press conferences leading up to the draft is that you want to pick a cornerback who's going to be a willing tackler. How did you see that show up on tape as he progressed in his career at Kentucky?
Yeah, I just think he wasn't confident in the size that he brought to the table. He came into Kentucky as a 170-pound player. Now he's 183. He's put on some lean muscle mass. He's still not big. And I think he's worked on his tackling technique, but consistency in that area is still something that I think he has to improve upon and refine.
Let's now bring in one of our friends from this show. It's senior producer for NFL Films and co-host of the ESPN's NFL Matchup Show, Greg Cosell, joining us right now to help us break down Buffalo's pick at that number 30 spot. Greg, what do you like about Maxwell Hairston's game?
Well, before I answer that, I'm not doing this, Maddie, until Chris promises that he's going to wear the jacket that Maxwell Hairston wore tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm just not going to talk to you guys now.
I'll see if I can dig one out of the closet, Greg, but I don't think I have anything that looks like that.
Oh, well, that's really disappointing then.
Well, you'll have to send one to me in the mail.
I really liked Hairston a lot. I watched him last summer from 2023, and I thought he was a really good prospect, and I was very anxious to see him this year in 2024. Obviously, he got hurt, and I think only played 6 or 7 games. But he is a really good corner. Obviously, no one expected, or I certainly didn't, him to run a 4.28 at the combine. But he played fast. He can play press man. I think one of the things that he showed that he's good at, obviously in college you always have to refine it because the college game is different, but he made plays in zone coverage where he understood route combinations and route concepts. And as I said, you always have to get better at that at the NFL level. But I think they teach that really well in Buffalo. So, you know, that's something I'm not really worried about because he's shown he can do it. And I heard you guys obviously talking about the run support. And I think, I can't remember whether it was you, Maddie, or Chris used the word willing. And he's definitely willing. Now, at 183, he's obviously not going to be a hammer. But all you need to be is willing, and you just have to get guys to the ground. It doesn't have to look pretty. But this is a great example of where that speed is. I believe that's Isaiah Bond from Texas. And he got beat initially early in the route, but you could see the easy transition and the speed as he just turned and ran. And you can never discount that because in this league, you do get beat every once in a while where a guy gets a step on you. And when you have that kind of speed, and the thing that I noticed when I watched him, he was very confident in his speed. So therefore, he could sit on routes longer because he felt very comfortable knowing that he could turn and run. And I think the other really important part, I know, Brownie, you mentioned the fact that the Bills got a lot of turnovers last year. But one thing that's really important for coaches, secondary coaches, is ball production for corners. And I think that that's where Hairston is really, really good as well. So to me, this is a really good pick. Believe it or not, I spoke to someone from a team this morning, and I'm telling you, this came from someone from a team. So when people hear this, I don't want them to think, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. This came from a team. And the guy said to me that he thought Hairston, that his tape at corner was better than Travis Hunter's tape at corner. So take that for whatever it's worth, but that came from a team.
So, Greg, just a quick question before we let you run, because Brandon Beane's coming to the podium here shortly. You have Benford on one side, just under the pretenses. Let's just say Hairston wins the starting job on the other side. Knowing how scheme versatile those two corners would be for this defense, how much easier does that make life for Bobby Babbage?
A ton easier, because the one thing that Hairston can do, and I'm not sure they had someone who could do this last year, was he can play press man. And you have to, in this league, be able to play press man somewhere along the line. It's just the nature of the league now. With all these quick games and RPOs, you've got to line up and be able to play press man, and Hairston can do that, and that was lacking on their roster.
All right, Greg, thank you so much for taking the time to hop on it and help us break down Maxwell Hairston. Excited that he's now a part of Buffalo's roster.
Great. I appreciate it, guys. See you tomorrow.
All right, go get some sleep.
I'm going to be doing that. That's next on my agenda.
All right, that was senior producer for NFL Films and also co-host of ESPN's NFL Matchup Show.